Federal judge has temporarily paused the National Institutes of Health from implementing funding cuts.
22 states, including California, filed lawsuits to stop the change. And joining us now is State Attorney General Rob Bonta. Good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. My pleasure.
So we're just talking about straws, for example. There's a lot that's been kind of distracting. And meantime, these types of things are happening kind of behind the scenes. So we're talking about cancer research, AIDS research, other diseases. What impact would a 15% cap on grants have on research activity?
It would have a massive impact. It would end potentially research projects that are groundbreaking in the biomedical fields, things that have brought us the MRI, DNA sequencing, treatments for cancer, critical work that is happening now on Alzheimer's, on other treatments for cancer. These are massive cuts. The reimbursement rate for many institutions is in the 50%, 60%. So to reduce it across the board to 15% in this unlawful way, cuts to things like labs and staff and the infrastructure and ecosystem that allows the groundbreaking research that our institutions in California and other institutions across the nation are known for, is very damaging to the advancement of medicine, of biomedical research. UCs have received over the course of a year in 2023 about $2 billion with a B in research. The CSUs around 150 million, a little over that. So we're talking millions in cuts, tens of millions, which really harm the advancement of biomedical research.
Yeah, I know last year the NIH said that $9 billion of $35 billion, or about 26% of grant dollars it distributed, went to overhead or indirect costs. Doing the math here, some academic institutions, though, devote 50% or more of their grant dollars to such costs. Can you talk about what this means? I mean, when the American people see that they could be saving $4 billion, that sounds like a good thing, but can you sort this all out for us?
I mean, are these reductions worth bypassing an advancement on Alzheimer's for all the folks who have loved ones with Alzheimer's or those who've suffered from cancer? Is it worth not having an advancement or a treatment to cancer? I mean, this is how we move forward. You must invest real dollars in real research. There are costs. Indirect costs are costs. Direct costs are costs. They are all costs that lead to incredible research that the medical field, academicians and researchers all understand to be incredible investments that move us forward as a society, as humankind. And so to reduce this across the board with no rationale, with no individualized assessment of any particular grant, just the slash and burn approach that violates the law, violates the Administrative Procedures Act, that's arbitrary and capricious, that goes through no notice and comment, which is all required by law, is unfortunately damaging to research and incredibly on brand for the Trump administration. He wants to do what he wants, when he wants, how he wants, regardless of the law, often regardless of the Constitution. So this is a big step backwards. And he did this in Trump administration 1.0. And Congress said you cannot have exactly these types of across-the-board cuts and modifications. And so he's doing it again in contravention of direct law prohibiting him from doing it. So it's bad for research and it's against the law.
I just want to follow up, though. What is an indirect cost when it comes to the NIH?
Yeah, the direct cost is the research grant to do the research on Alzheimer's, on cancer. The indirect cost is for the staff that will do the research, the lab where the research is done, the utilities that support the lab and allow it to run. These are real costs. You don't have research without a lab. You don't have research without medical professionals or staff to do it, without the utilities that allow the lab to run. So they're just names for actual real costs that lead to real research and real advancements. And so however it wants to be framed by the Trump administration, these are real research costs that, if cut as he proposes, will set us backward and not allow us the advancements that we deserve.
Okay, so what can we expect now? The hearing for this pause is next week. Obviously, this is going to be a long legal battle. Is funding going to continue to flow in the meantime? Is it going to be paused? What do we all expect now?
The funding is flowing now because a court ruled within hours that the Trump administration threatened irreparable harm to our research across the country, that we, the states, and the plaintiffs in a separate case were likely to prevail on the merits, and that he could not do this based on our presentation of facts and law. So there'll be so right now there is a national restraint on these cuts. It's temporary, and so we'll have a hearing next Friday to extend that prohibition against the restraint on the funds from flowing. And we prevailed already in the first preliminary step. Literally, the court ruled within hours. It was so clear and so important and so much at stake. So next Friday on the 21st will be another hearing. We expect to prevail again, just as we have here.
Okay, well, we'll keep watching and checking in with you. Attorney General Rob Bonta, thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.